Welcome to the RIP 28 podcast. The RIP 28 podcast. This is a podcast where a few friends can get together and we can talk about a few things. Now, some of those things you might like, some of those things you might not like, but we're going to keep on talking about them here on the RIP 28 podcast. I am your humble host, Slaughter Sports Guy, joined by a couple of my real good friends, man. First, we always start off with the president. What's going on, El Presidente?
Hey, good evening, everybody out there. C-Nez in the building. Just coming in from Birmingham, Alabama basketball tournament, straight off the road to the show. So let's get it popping.
In the other corner, the top corner, the original doctor, Dr. J. What's going up, Doc?
Not much. Good Sunday afternoon. I had a nice little first spring day run outside. It wasn't too bad. Sipping on me some electrolytes, trying to get my fluids back in me. I let y'all fellas handle the alcohol this afternoon. So
Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Now we got the educator's educator. What's going on, LBZ?
Man, it's Beezy the Great, the educator's educator. Just here to be educated on a few things today.
I hear you now. Now on the RIP 28 podcast, what we like to do, man, we like to bring in some special guests from time to time. And now when we go and get special guests, we like to get heavy hitters. We like to get the ones who really know what's going on, man, the people in the field who bring a lot to the show. Well, we went out and we found one guy. We had Jawan tell us, man, it wasn't enough light skin representation on the RIP 28 podcast. So we went and got one. We went we went and got a young man who definitely gonna bring a lot to our show. We got the one and only Kyle Greene Sr. How you doing, Kyle? You hear me, Kyle?
What's up, fellas, man? I am super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be on y'all platform. I'm ready to hop into the conversation, man. It seems like y'all been homeboys for a really long time, so I know this gonna be fun. I know it's gonna be informative, and I know it's gonna be inspirational. So I'm ready.
All right,
Welcome
man.
to the show, brother.
We glad to have you here. We're glad to have you here, man. First off, man, we want to start off. Man. We want to make sure everybody knows that we are available everywhere for all our fans out there who want to check us out, who want to subscribe, who want to talk to us, follow us, all that good stuff. We're everywhere you want to be, man. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on YouTube, we're on Podbay, what else? Google, Twitter, Anchor, SoundCloud, Facebook. Where we at, man? We everywhere, right? We all the way out there, ain't? All the way. And now here's the thing, not
All of,
international.
international.
all of.
International. Now, not only we're very happy that you all decided to listen or you decided to watch, but what we also need you to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and let's just be honest. Let's be honest, man. Hey, if you don't like or you don't subscribe, your mama probably raised you wrong. That's the only thing I can think of for somebody not to like or not to subscribe to this podcast. Your mama probably raised you wrong. All right. All right. Now we got all that out the way. We got all that out of the way, man. We won't dive right into this thing. We won't dive right into it, man, and give an introduction to who we have here, man. We got a guy by the name of Kyle Greene. Now, a lot of you guys, a lot of you people out there know Kyle. Some of our listeners might not know him, but Kyle is like he is one of the most sought after one of the most sought after youth motivational speakers in the country. You know, his speeches, they captivate you, they motivate you, they rejuvenate you, they do all of that stuff to you, man. They make you feel good when you listen to this young man get out there and talk to the youngsters out there. Starting off, the young man, he first published his first book in what's that 2015, called The Mentality Changer, a journey to help change how you once thought about you. They say this book has changed mindsets in people all over the world. He later co-authored his second book, Father Daughter Goals, how a beautiful bond between a father and a daughter and his daughter was formed by a simple promise with his daughter Arbia. I hope I said that name right, man. I hate to. Did I say it right? Is it Arbor?
Yeah,
Okay, there you go. There you go.
yeah.
Also, this young man, during the pandemic, he launched his newest business venture called the GOAT Academy. The GOAT Academy is designed to help and inspire business owners and influencers to grow their brand. As a brand influencer and a brand coach, he believes that every business owner with the right guidance, support, and education has the potential to become the greatest of all time in their respective industries. Man, that sounds good, man.
So I like that. I like that to say from a kid to a goat. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up right there, bro.
Man,
Hey, it's real funny that I see two Juwans on the screen right now, man. The boys look like brothers out there.
Hey, Chance, you got Derek Fish and Doug, two Lakers.
Now, Kyle, man, we're happy to have you here, man. But first, man, we just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Who are you, man? I gave you the rundown, the canned version, man. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, man? Who are you?
Yeah, so man, I'm somebody who came from very humble beginnings. My mom was on drugs my whole life. She lost not one but two boyfriends that overdosed when they were getting high. I hated my mom when I was a kid because she was not there for me. So I couldn't understand, you carried me for 9 months, and why would you not come to any football games, any basketball games? Why didn't you not come when I was recognized for being an A/B honor roll student? Or why weren't you at any of my academic challenge events? So my mom was on drugs. My dad lived in the next town over. So I'm from Jasper County. My dad lived in Beaufort County. He lived in St. Helena. So he wasn't there in the home. My grandmother, she had 18 kids. She raised me and my sister. She did so much with so little to afford me the opportunity where I could just kind of have some type of life, even if I didn't have a lot of the material things that my friends had. I had a daughter when I was 16 in the 10th grade. I was educated in one of the worst school districts in South Carolina. I don't know where Jasper County ranks now, but when I was coming up, kids wasn't graduating from high school and going off to college, at least not a lot of them. We had a hard time reading on our respective grade levels. We did poorly on standardized tests. So I came through all of that, right? And then one day, my son, he came downstairs and he was like, yo, Dad, I can't wear my rock star hoodie anymore because I might get killed like Trayvon Martin. And that's when Trayvon Martin was murdered in Sanford, Florida. I never visited Sanford, Florida. I never met Sabrina Fulton. I never met Trayvon Martin. But my son, him saying that, it triggered something inside of me. And I was listening to Sabrina Fulton say this could have happened to any one of our sons. And she was speaking at the 1 million hoodie march that they were having, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton was having in New York. And so I went on my social media and I said, hey, what do y'all think about doing a rally for Trayvon Martin? I didn't think nobody was really going to react and respond, right? But sometimes, man, when you put stuff out in the atmosphere, God really holds you accountable for it. So I kind of spoke it into the atmosphere, and then I had people, and it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when I did it. Man, I woke up the next day, it had hundreds of shares, likes, comments. Kyle, yo, I can help do a graphic. Yo, Kyle, I can help you with the logistics. And it really just grew organically over 2 days. I called it the 1,000 Hoodie March. It grew to 3,700 people showed up that Saturday at Finley Park in Columbia, South Carolina. And then that's when everything was kind of birthed out and was born into what you see today. So it took like a tragic moment. It took an adverse situation for me to discover what my purpose is and was in life. And that's to bring people together, white people, Black people, young people, old people, people in, like corporate America. I was managing an artist, so I brought the hip hop community together. And that just really started something to what it is now, where I go and inspire and motivate and change mindsets and get people to see the very best in themselves and get people to tap into that potential for greatness that lives deep down inside of us, because you can't be great until you reach deep down inside of who you are as a person, to extract those gifts, to extract those dreams and those ideas and to turn them into reality. So that's just a little bit about like how it started, man. I took a moment in time and I made it into a movement. So whoever listening, whoever watching, I want you right now, whatever moments that you have happen in your life, man, you can take that moment right now and you can make it into your movement. I did it.
Man. That's what's up, man. Everybody got it in them, man. You just got to find a way to pull it out, right?
Exactly.
For sure. For sure.
And
Like
that's so interesting, man. You say how, like Chance was saying, everybody got it in. You just have to find a way to pull it out. I hear a lot. Even though I don't live in Columbia anymore, but I hear a lot of how you go and you speak to these schools and you speak to the youth, whether it's in person or I guess with the pandemic now, through Zoom and through Skype. You speak to these youngsters, man, and how do you get them to relate to you? I mean, I know I say you're a young brother, man. I mean, you older than these kids. You know what I'm saying? How do you get the
Yeah.
kids to get your message? Because I mean, I'm be honest, we were all teenagers, man. Anybody over 25 was old. We ain't care what they had to say. How do you get them to listen to you?
Right. So when I go in, man, like most kids, like my man that's an educator, right? Most kids want to just know that you care. So once you're able to show them that you genuinely care about them, and you're not just there for a check, you there because you care about like their well-being, their success, their future, their present, and you can relate to what they're going through. Because oftentimes adults can't relate to what kids are going through. We act like these kids not struggling with some type of addiction, not struggling with denial or rejection or heartache. Like we act like these kids are like they just have the best world, right? And their lives are perfect. So when I go into these schools and I share my story and I tell them what I went through, and I'm like, yo, I don't care that I drove up in here in a white BMW of 528i. I remember I had to walk down my dirt road and I would have to catch a ride to go to football practice. And I would practice for 2.5 hours. And I would have to catch a ride back to my home, to my home. So when kids hear that and they like, dang, like, yo, he just like me. Like he went through something just like me, because everybody has a story. And I don't care how old you are, everybody has a story. The young kids, their story is still being written. Even as adults, our story is still being written. But we have like more chapters in our book. I'm just trying to get these kids to know that even though they might be going through a rough chapter right now, like it's still hope on the other side. So once I show that I care, once I show that I'm sincerely, unapologetically someone who came from the bottom, who struggled their entire life, they like, yo, if he made it, maybe I can make it. And all I do is just give hope.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I like that. LeBron is a teacher right now. I was a teacher and coach for 8 years as well. And, that's exactly the same way we feel as well. They got to know that you care about them before you can try to tell them what to do and do all this stuff, man. And that's what a lot of people don't get. And then I'm in management now, and it's the same way in the workforce. If you're just out there trying to be a dictator or something like that, nobody want to follow you doing that. You got to show that you genuinely care about these people, that you got their best interests at heart, and then that's where you get people to follow you. You know what I mean? So I totally agree with what you're saying, man.
That's a key point. One of my favorite quotes is, "Kids don't care what you know until they know that you care."
Yes, sir.
Because
yes,
once they know that you care about them, then they can open up to you.
Right.
They don't want somebody to come in that's, that can't relate to them, like you said before. If you can't relate to them, you'll never break down some of these barriers and these walls that they have built up from their past and the things that they have experienced. So you got to show them that you care first. If they don't see that you care, and kids are genuine, they know.
Right.
They know, they can tell. They have these senses that tell me, Mr. Kyle is sincere, Mr. Sylvester is sincere, such and such. I don't know, they might be here for a check, but they can tell. But once they know you genuinely care, that's when you can really be effective and break down those walls and really get down to the root issues.
Right. And I'm gonna just say real quick. So, and I speak like everywhere, man. Like, like I got a really big following, right? And it's because when I speak, like these kids follow me. I had this one girl, right? She graduated. She got a tattoo in her like middle of her arm. It says, "You don't know my story. If I forgot how I said it, if you don't know my glory." Like I said something like that when I was speaking. That girl went and got it tattooed on her arm. Like, bruh, she went and got it tattooed my words on her arm. Like tattoos don't leave your body unless you kind of have some, where you can get
Shut
it
'em
like
off.
taken. But she has it permanently, my words tatted on her arms. And she was like, yo, man, you don't know how much you just really impacted my life. Man, that's one of the dopest things I've ever had experienced in my entire life.
Hey, what people don't understand, you're an inspiration to other people, but they just don't know how much they inspiration to you as well when something like that happens. You know what I'm saying? That just keep you pushing on to keep it going. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question, man. You've taken the route and you're trying to empower our youth and help our youth, but what would you advise the regular Joe, the average cat out there on the street, and he wants to do something to help. He wants to be of help. How would you go at him and put him to work? I guess. You know.
So you mean as far as like helping them get to their next level, or
Yeah,
if they
we
want
got.
to help like with kids?
Well, both. I'm glad you said that, helping them to get to their next level too. I'm glad you said that too. We can go on that too. But we got a lot of listeners, and they'll write us letters and write us stuff about we want to be more effective in the community. You need to, we might need to do more in the community. But how can we do it? Because like you said, you started off by just putting out a tweet or a Facebook post saying let's have this 100 hoodie march. But what can somebody else do if they want to help?
So what other people can do, right? You find the things that you are really like good at. You find the things that you are elite at. So when we think about like Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, we really consider them GOATs, right? And I always say this, being a GOAT, it doesn't just have to be synonymous to sports figures. Like you can be the GOAT if you do landscaping, if you do real estate, if you do like makeup, if you do lashes, like if you do barbering, like you can be the GOAT in whatever area that you're really good at, right? So maybe you're a barber. Like every kid may not go to college, and that's perfectly fine. But if you can teach a kid how to cut hair and show them, yo, this is how you line it up, this is how you do a temp fade, this is what I do, this is what I do, and you kind of just start like some type of internship where maybe you have a chair, a booth for one person that might be trying to get to that next level. Like just doing the things that you already good at and then giving a kid an opportunity, because like I said, most kids, not all kids don't necessarily go to college, and that's all right. But if you can give them a trade and you can show them what you're doing, you just give a kid hope where they don't have to feel like they got to turn or they have to go to the streets to find like easy money. Like, man, you cut 10 hairs, you charge $10, maybe you do 2 hours. That's $100 that you just made, whether you was trying to sell a pack or whatever the case might be. You see what I'm saying? So just taking what you're really good at, taking the things that you're really elite at, and then giving a kid an opportunity where they can excel in what you're good at, and then giving them guidance to make sure if they fall down, you help them get back up. If they fall down again, you help them show what to do to make sure that the next time that they fall, they don't need you to help them get up. They know that they can get up on their own. So you can start giving kids hope by doing the things that you're really good and you're really elite at.
We had a similar topic about this on the prior show about, college ain't for everybody, like you say,
Yeah.
Find your trade, man. There's people that's welding, coming out of high school, making $120,000 a year doing stuff like that, auto mechanic, like you said, doing hair, all that. I mean, you go to school for 1-2 semesters, you out in the workforce making money, man. So it's a lot of options that people just don't know about that we need to put out there and get them going, man. So
yeah. And then too, and then not just with the trades and the cutting hair. So like with me, I really got involved on a social issue. Man, you know how much stuff going on right now in the country? We got what happened here in Columbia in the summit. I have no idea why that Army sergeant, why he did it in Columbia. Out of all of the places you can do, Columbia is not the place to really do that but to get involved on social issues and helping to coordinate. Like you don't have to be the person to do like me who like thought of it, did it, execute. You don't have to be that person. You can just be there and support. You can be there to lend your voice. You can be there to help break down tables, help set up. Like you can do any of those little intangible things because as long as we all building towards the same goal, like the results is not just like, I wasn't just trying to shine when I did that event, right? I wanted everybody else to shine. I wanted everybody else to feel like, you know, Columbia is going to be a place that's going to take a stand. Because oftentimes, man, you either going to stand for something or you're going to fall for anything. So we got to start making a stand in our community, especially as Black men. I think oftentimes we have Black women who kind of carry the mantle when it comes to social causes, when it comes to being very involved in the community. And I think right now, man, I'm just calling out all men, man, don't be afraid to take a stand.
Oh man, I'm
Hey,
glad.
Kyle,
I'm glad you said that. Give me 1 second, bro. And I'm glad you said that about men and the brothers stepping up, man, because sisters get a lot of flack, man, and they catch it. They catch it from both sides, man. They catch it from the white man, and they catch it from us brothers. But sisters have been carrying us brothers for a long time. Um, when it comes to a lot
Yeah.
of community issues, man. The sisters, and that's kind of our challenge, man. One thing about us here on the Rip 28 podcast, we were all raised, by strong men. We had strong fathers in our lives, so we had examples on how to be a man. But it's kind of the challenge we like to put out to the other men out there. Let's step up and do something positive. Take some of the weight off of some of these sisters' back, man, and be leaders and be the leaders that we're supposed to be in our community, in our household, man. I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry to cut you off, Bron,
Yes, man.
but I had to say that, man.
no, you good. You good. That was well stated. And speaking to that point, I was going to ask Kyle, what were some of the setbacks you experienced when you were trying to get started? For those that are listening that may be trying to get something off the ground, that have had some setbacks and don't know where to turn or where to go next. What were some of the things that you had, some hurdles you had to get over as far as getting started with the things that you're involved with now?
Fear. Fear is the one thing. Fear is the one word that will rob us of our opportunity to even try to do something. Like fear will tell you that you're not good enough. Fear will tell you that your mother was a failure, so you're gonna be a failure. Fear will tell you your daddy locked up, so nobody gonna listen to you because your father not there. Fear will tell you you failed in your last business. What make you think your next business is gonna be successful? Fear will tell you that your significant other don't even believe in your dreams. Like fear will rob you of your opportunity to even try. And so you will just sit there being content with where you are in your current life. One thing about me is I had to get over like the fear of, what if nobody buys my book? What if what if I'm not able to inspire anybody? What if nobody comes to an event that I have? Once I got like beyond and past that part of being afraid, being fearful, because then too, on the flip side, you also have the fear, what if I'm really successful? Like, am I able to handle the success that might come as a result of me launching this business idea, launching this business? So once you remove fear out of your equation and you put in faith, because again, all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed to move mountains. All I did was had an idea and thought that I could do it. And then all I did was got people who were really good at what I was weak at, where I had deficiencies. Like I had a homeboy, Chris Sullivan. He knew all about the city, how to get permits. I didn't know none of that. I didn't even know who to go through. I plugged him in to handle that. He did the press release. Melanie Williams, she was really good at getting people together, organizing, being very strategic. I'm not really good at that. I'll let her do it. Kyle, you need to speak. I can speak. Kyle, you need to bring people together. I can bring people together. Kyle, we need people.
Yeah.
I got people. So all I did was found people who were good at the places that I was weak at, and they was then able to take my dream and then help it become our reality. Because I never wanted to make it about me. So if you constantly make it about you and it's not about we, I think that's where people kind of mess up at, man. I want everybody to be successful. I don't want to just be successful. I don't want my son or my daughter to just be successful. I don't want just my household to be successful. I think it's enough out there for everybody to be successful. And I think that's what really has allowed me to build up good equity in my community, good equity throughout the state, really good social currency on social media is because I never made it about Kyle. It was always about everybody else.
Hey man, that's a great point, man. You know, I guess us as black men, you know, we kind of been raised as, you know, competition. But it's about teamwork, man. Like you can be LeBron and lose to Golden State or Dallas Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have a good team together. You got to be able to trust people and not say, all right, if I teach him everything I know, he's gonna take my spot. You know what I'm saying? You got to have good people with you all the time, and that's what make the dream work. You know,
Teamwork make the dream work.
You got some good points out here, brother. I'm really glad we got you on.
Hey, shout out Melanie Williams. She's from Columbia High. She graduated in class of '98 with me, her president.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you said the name. I was thinking, it's like, oh, I know Melanie Williams.
Yeah, that's Melanie.
Sound like
small world, boy.
Sound like she should have been the president.
hey, I'm still working to get you fired from presidency, so you better watch that. Hey, but check this out, Kyle.
It ain't gonna take much.
Hey, Kyle, I'm glad you said something about fear. I have a yes lie. That's I have an acronym for fear. Face everything and rise. And I try to tell my team that everything won't be easy. It's never gonna be easy. If it's too easy, you better be cognizant of what's going on because it's a trap on the other side.
Right.
So I always tell them you have to face it. You can't run from it. You can't defer from it. You have to face it because you're gonna face it more than once.
Right.
If you go ahead and defeat it, you know what to expect. So I like what you said about fear because it takes a lot to step out, to have that confidence to step out on your own because it can be fearful thinking, what if I failed and how would that look to such and such or whatever. So we have to get over that fear. And not only that, but get over the fear of, like Chan said, somebody taking our job and not coming together because we have strength in numbers.
Yep.
Like where I'm weak, that's the best thing about working with a team. Where I'm weak, these guys are strong. And you know, we feed off of each other. So that's what makes everything work and vice versa. And that's why things work together the way it does.
That's dope. That's dope.
So I got a question. So I work with a youth organization, Distinguished Gentlemen's Club down in Charleston. For fear, like for how I work with a lot of high school kids. Like, how do you reach high school kids and get them to not be fearful and at least try? Because a lot of times they don't. I feel like they're so fearful of not being successful that they just don't try at all, and then they don't have to worry about not failing, right? And so, like, any pointers for working with high school kids and getting them to overcome of that fear aspect?
So for starters, what I do with high school students, like if I have something that's a little bit more intimate, because a lot of times I go speak at like a school-wide assembly, and it's 1,300 students, so I can't really get as intimate. But if I go and I'm speaking at like classrooms, I'll have them write down like, what are you really good at? What do you love doing? What would you do even if you wasn't getting paid to do it? And then if you could like meet anybody in the world, who would it be and why? Sometimes like that, those type questions, somebody might say, I want to meet Oprah Winfrey. Why? Because she's a billionaire, whatever the case might be. And then I'll say, well, what is it about Oprah Winfrey being a billionaire? Do you know how she like acquired her wealth? And then it'll really just get them to start thinking. It'll get them to start looking deeper into what Oprah did. Because again, they just see Oprah the billionaire and they see that's surface level. They don't know that, you know, how she rose from the ranks up to where she is today. So then maybe something that resonates in Oprah's story might resonate in their story. You know, Oprah growing up in a small town in Alabama and her starting out with a show that got canceled, and how she built up her empire, and now how she had her own Oprah network. So maybe they might be like, yo, I want to be like a actress or something. So then I find out, also, that's what you really want to do. Because oftentimes kids don't really know what they want to do when they're in high school. They, you kind of just going through school, sports, like you don't stop to kind of think like, what is it that I really want to do? Because once you leave high school, I don't care if you go to college, you like enter into like real world. Like
that's
real
a swift transition. Swift, quick.
Right. So if you're not starting to have those internal conversations with yourself, or somebody pulling that up out of you, so then now you can start being strategic and being intentional about what you're studying and what you're doing, trying to find, like my son, he got his own t-shirt line. He also buys and sells shoes. He buy them at a kind of wholesale price. You get the elite shoes that nobody can hardly get. You get these botnets and stuff, and order shoes and get them, and then he sell them and make like money off of it. That's something that he wants to do. But guess what? Guess what I found out, bro? My son, if he could go to any college, again, his dream school is Duke, but if he could go to any college, he would want to go to Oregon. And why do you think he want to go to Oregon?
Nike.
Exactly. My son wants to design shoes. I would have never got that had I not really dug deep into what is it that he really wants to do. So I know that my son, his ultimate dream is to maybe go to the NBA, but his ultimate dream is to like work for Nike, designing shoes. So I think getting kids to really dig deep and to figure out like, yo, what is it that I really want to do? And then not just on the surface level, but the other questions will let you get to the root of what they ultimately want to do. And once you get to the root of anything, that's where you can then start working out to figure out how you can help get them there. And then if it's something like, yo, I want to start my own clothing line, show them how to design a shirt. Like my shirts, all my stuff, like I design them on my own. Like I come up with the idea, I send them to my graphic designer. It cost me $5.50. I sell them for $25. I make like I show people how to make like money doing it the right way.
Yeah, hey Kyle, but for real though, your boy balling like that, he need to come on and play for Penny Hardaway at the University of Memphis.
Too much scandal. Hey, too much scandal, Kyle. We're not putting ourselves in there.
Hey, I'm gonna hit him up this week and tell him go and give him a holler.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle, I have a boys group at my school. We're called Young Men of Distinction, and I see that you wrote a book about the mentality changer. What's the first step you would take to changing the mentality of a group of young men? I have about 35 to 40 when everybody's there. What's the first step to changing the mentality of 3rd through 5th graders that may think the only way out of the hood is through drugs or through sports? How do we change that mentality?
We first change it by like getting them to change themselves, because you can't change anyone else. You can't change your environment. You can't change your community. You can't change your city, your county. You can't change anything until you first change the way you think. And then once you change the way you think, then things around you begin to change. That's like the beauty, and that's the ugliness. Like that's the magic in like changing your mindset. So for one, getting them to I hated reading when I was a kid. I could not read when I was like in the 3rd and 5th grade. Like, and I don't know if schools do it like this now, but they would like call everybody in a row and you would have to read the next paragraph.
Oh yeah.
Like I would get sick all of a sudden. I would have to go to the bathroom. I would have to go see the nurse. And then my teacher asked me one day, she said, Kyle, I noticed that every time it's time for you to read, you will raise your hand. And I said, because I can't read. I had to change my mindset on how I saw me not being able to read, because I felt like I was embarrassed. I felt like kids laughed at me, and they did. So I had to change like my mindset. And it was something as simple as like understanding how to break a word down. I didn't understand a prefix, a suffix. I didn't know how to put like words together. So when I read like I was really remedial. Like I was really, really, really slow. So I think for kids, man, once you change your mindset, and that can be anything, like, the saying, stop crying over spilled milk. Yeah, all right, okay, I spilled the milk, I ain't crying no more, but what can you do to make sure that you don't spill the milk again? Hold on, y'all, sorry about that. My sister called. But like changing your mindset on like just that type of analogy, getting kids to know that, yo, I don't care what you're currently going through, right? All I care about is what you're trying to do with the next part of your life. Because I had a daughter when I was 16 in 10th grade. My mentor was Reverend Senator Clemente Pinckney. Senator Pinckney, he lost his life on June 17, 2015 at Mother Emanuel. That was my mentor. He took me under his wings when I was just 15 in the 10th grade. And he said to me, he said, Kyle, I don't care. Because I told him, I said, man, I'm about to have a daughter. I might have to drop out of school. He said, nah. He said, I don't care about what happened right now in your life. All I care about is, Kyle, what you're going to do with the rest of your life. So he changed my mindset on how I viewed becoming a teenage dad at 16 in the 10th grade. So I think it's up to us as teachers, as community advocates, as people who work with students to help kids change their mindset. Because sometimes they're not going to be able to do it on their own without a little bit of assistance, without pushing them, without like always talking to them. Like I never could understand why my basketball and football coaches got on me when I made small mistakes in practice, right? I could never understand. I'm like, man, it's just practice, man. Like, why are you getting on me because I made these small mistakes? But it was because they were preparing me for something bigger, for something greater in life. And that's what coaches do. And that's why I'm so indebted to my coaches. I still remember, man, Coach Faber, Coach Lonnie Roberts, like my coaches, they got on me. But when I think back on it in hindsight, they got on me for a reason. So I think as teachers, as educators, as community leaders, motivational speakers, it's our job to get on kids and not just get on them like we that parent, but to get on them and hold them accountable, because they're going to look back over their life and they're going to say, man, if it wasn't for my 5th grade teacher, like I would not be the person that I am today. And I'm the byproduct of teachers that really just saw something in me that I didn't see within myself. And they saw the potential in who I can become.
I like that. I like that, man.
No.
I just see a lot of challenges with the young men that I mentor at school. So I just want to kind of, reach out and see and get another perspective. I appreciate that, Kyle.
Hey, and I forgot what school you said.
Mill Creek, I need to get a group set of that book, and I'll talk to you about that further.
I would love to come and even speak to the kids, speak to your team. I do a lot of, I go and speak at a lot of teams. Keenan, before they play their state championship, Scott's Branch, like they bring me in for their girls and train them in the summer. Like, and that's when they started winning those state titles. Dutch Fork, I speak at their athletic banquets. You see their football, you see just Dutch Fork, period. Like schools like that, they understand what it means to like get kids to change their mindset and get them to see things differently, understand what culture is, like building a culture in your organization. So I would love to like come speak to your school, speak to your team, and really just help get them to that next level.
Well, it's a good thing.
Yes, sir. I certainly appreciate it.
It's a good thing you just talked about. You spoke a little bit about your book, man. How can everybody out there, how can all our listeners, he is a bestseller. He's on that bestseller list, How can the people get your book? How will we go about buying your book?
Yeah, man, it's on Amazon. And I was just about to say, and I'm gonna put people on game too. Everybody got a story. Everybody got a book in them. It's just about if you're gonna take the time to write it. I self-published both of my books. The first one, A Mentality Changer. The second one I did with my daughter, who I had when I was 16. She just graduated from Columbia College last May. She got a degree in business administration, a minor in leadership. We wrote a book together. But I said all that to say is we took our story, we wrote it together. We did a social media fast with our church last January. We was off social media for like 30 days. We went to the library for every single day of the week, except for the weekends. And we wrote for like 3 or 4 hours. And that was January. February, we got it edited. March 26th, we had a book launching. I'm saying that to tell somebody that's listening, bro, you can write your own book. You can self-publish your own book. I'm like Master P with it, bro. I sling it out of my trunk. Like that book cost me $3.15. I sell it for $20. I make almost $16.85 profit off of every single book. I buy it wholesale. I sell it retail. Like I built it and I did it on a platform. It's called KDP Publishing, KDP Publishing. Amazon is the parent company. Because if y'all remember, Amazon started out as just a company to sell books. It has ballooned and morphed into what it is now, $1 trillion company, but it started out as selling books. You can get on KBP. It does not cost you a dime. It walks and holds your hand through how to self-publish a book. Now, what I did that I'm really good at was I was able to then market it and then brand it. But you can self-publish, you can write your own book, and you can have a book on Amazon, and you can get people to write reviews and give their honest feedback and opinion about your book. And guess what? You too can become an Amazon bestseller. So again, I told you, it's never about me. Like, you can go on Amazon to buy my book, but I don't want you to just go on Amazon to buy my book. I want to go on Amazon and then buy your book. And I just gave you the blueprint. I gave you the secret. Well, it ain't a secret. Well, if it's a secret, you know now. KDB Publishing. Go on there. It's free to sign up. It's free to put your book in. You upload a Word document. You put the graphics. Like, they hold your hand and tell you what you have to do. You get an ISBN number. You don't have to pay for it. And then you too can have your own book on Amazon.
Okay.
Rip 28 podcast. The story coming soon.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
It's coming soon,
Yeah.
man.
Yo,
Hey,
that's really dope. All y'all can then share, like, write a part of like a book, right? Put it together. Maybe it's on your childhood. Maybe it's on how y'all got to y'all different parts of your, like, business life and social life. Y'all write that. Like, all of y'all become an author. Y'all find a price point. Like, bro, y'all, you can do it.
Hey, the merch coming soon, Kyle. The merch is coming soon. Rip 28 podcast.
I need a shirt. I like the shirt. I like the colors in the shirt.
We definitely got
you, Kyle. We got you. We
won't take a pause right there and let the people know how LeBron hold that cup back up in a second, man. We do have merchandise now. We are the Rip 28 podcast. You can go and hit us on our Gmail. You can hit us in Twitter. You can hit us at our Instagram and get some. You can buy the mug. We have the mug and the T-shirt.
We got the shirts.
And thing pretty.
I'm telling you, man.
That's hard.
Look at it, man. That shirt make LeBron look good,
Kyle.
man.
We ripping it up.
Our shirts do miracles.
Hey, the only reason I look bad is because we got the Splash Brothers on here today. That's the only reason I look bad.
Hey, who's Steph and who Clay?
hey, Jawan is Steph and Kyle Clay.
They can both shoot that thing.
Hey, Kyle, the chances El Presidente is Draymond.
Now you know it's interesting. You bring up the Splash Brothers now, because not only is Kyle a vaunted author, a heralded author, a heralded speaker, he's also known in the training circles in the AAU circles with his basketball skills. Man, he's trained a few fellas out there, and he has a son who's pretty damn good. Who's pretty damn good, man. How did you get into that field also, man?
So my dad, he was a basketball coach at Buford High for like 40 years, right? And my grandfather, he was a coach. I remember my son when he started playing basketball in like rec league. He might have was 6, I guess that's when you start playing rec. But he would go to, like, y'all know Pooh, right? James Abrams.
Yeah, that's our big brother, man. Yeah. That's our big brother.
Pooh is the GOAT of training.
Mm-hmm.
So Pooh is who my son been going to since he was 4. And so when people always kind of be like, yo, how's KJ so fundamental? Like, bro, I'm sending KJ to Pooh, who came up under George Glimp. And everybody know, like, that story.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Hoopology.
So Hoopology, yeah, bro. Like, KJ was going since he was 4. And so he just took a liking to basketball. You know how when you're a parent, you put your kids, we put them in T-ball, we put them in soccer, swimming, basketball, football. He just fell in love with basketball. And he was so good. We would always play him up like a year or 2 because he would just dominate his age. And so I started an AAU team. Well, I went with the Capital City Vipers, but I wanted to coach a 2023 team, knowing my son was 2024 kid. So I wanted to always have him play up against kids that were bigger, stronger, faster. And it kind of paid off. And so everybody would be like, yo, how can I get my son like yours? You know, everybody say that with Rec. How can I get my son like yours? I'm like, yo, we come in the gym and we train. So KJ was like, yo, Dad, if you start a basketball training, he was like, you can charge people $5 or $10 and then you can buy me some KDs and LeBrons. That was his idea.
That's right.
So I was like, yo, like I can start this. So I talked to Blythewood, and I can remember when Blythewood Park, right, when we would go and play like, so you know, in rec league, you would then go play like Hopkins, you would then play people over at Eastover, Kaufman Road, and you play people like throughout Kaufman Road will beat everybody. And I was like, dang, like why can't we not beat Kaufman Road? And those kids that they breed down there, raised, are special. Like they just really good, right? They different.
That's my area down there.
So you already know the type of kid I'm talking about. So what we had to do was we had to make sure, and this was what I was thinking. I was like, the way that we can beat those kids because they're more athletic is if we become more skilled, if we become more like developed. So I started a training academy. I call it Elite Fundamentals. I started with the team that I had. It was 6 kids. And then when we went back to the winter league, everybody was like, dang, how did these kids get so good? And it was like, yo, I sent them to this Kyle guy at Blythewood. Bro, before COVID happened, I had the biggest basketball training academy in Columbia. I was training between 50 to 60 kids every Tuesday and Thursday at Blythewood Park. I would have parents who would say, yo, I know my son or daughter will never play basketball in middle school, high school, or anything, but I just want to have my kids up under your wing. I had Asian kids. I had white kids. I had the black kids. I had kids who were on freaking chess clubs. Parents just wanted their kids around me because I started changing their mindset on how they thought. Like I would say, like, if you shoot, hold your follow through. And I was like, make sure you hold your follow through, and even holding your follow through if you give somebody your word when you get older, because all you got at the end of the day is your word. So make sure you always follow through on the word. Like I would take something like holding your follow through and then changing it into like making sure that you keep your word. And parents just fell in love with it. So I grew that into what it was.
Man, that's what's up, man. Hey, I speak this all the time. And I bet LeBron could say the same thing too. Man, sports is the epitome of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If everything you go through, adversity, you're gonna have bad games, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win, you're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows. But, you know, that teaches you about life and that helps you get prepared. And I mean, I use sports analogies all the time when I'm talking to people, you know what I mean? It just translates so good. It's just like, man, that's what it is, man. So I mean, you can use that in any setting in the world.
Anything.
You know?
Anything.
That's what's up. Man.
And then as a result, my son getting all that training, it kind of just helped him really good, man. We super blessed, man. I tell KJ all the time, I'm like, bro, make sure you say your prayers and you always thank God for your like athletic ability, your skills. Because even though we train a lot, I'm like, bro, like, I don't ever want you to think that you just got them by happenstance. I'm like, man, God saw something in you. He deposited that into you. Like, you super smart. I was like, yo, always just thank God for your athletic ability. And we blessed, man. He the number 2 player in the state for 2024. He the number 1 point guard in the state. The kid is like really super duper dynamic. And I just really thank God. Like I'm just, I'm his dad, and I'm just enjoying everything.
The kid is
supposed to be. You're supposed to be proud, Kyle. You're doing a good job with him, man. I've had the pleasure of watching him play when he was younger. So keep doing what you're doing, man. It's a proud moment. You should be proud.
The
Appreciate
kid
that,
is
Ron.
cold,
Appreciate
man. He is cold, man.
Yes, sir.
Ron got one coming up too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got me a 4-year-old monster about he gonna be ready, man. He gonna be ready.
He like 6'2" already at 4.
Hey, he challenged me this weekend. Play me one-on-one. I said, all right, now you better watch out. I don't take it in. No.
You got to pound them in the ground, man. Hey, till they get too big, and then once they get to the spot where they beat you the first time, that's the last time you play them. Don't play them no more. Never play them one on
That's the
one
last
again after
time
they
you
beat
play.
you.
That's my daddy.
That's it, man.
Right.
The,
Right.
the golden rule, which is what.
Man, I'm glad that you do so much with athletics, man, because all of us, man, all of us on the Rip 28 podcast, our whole conglomerate, man, all 8 of us, we're all former athletes. Most of us on the collegiate level, definitely all of us on the the high school level. But like Chance said, man, it's just so many life lessons you learn out there on that court, on that football field. Just so many life lessons you learn. And so I'm a big proponent of high school sports. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, high school sports pays a lot of my bills, because I call games. I've been doing play-by-play for the past almost 20 years. So high school sports pays a lot of my bills, but I still appreciate the life lessons that you learn out there on that court or out there on that football
Yeah.
field. And to hear you say you incorporate life lessons into your training, it makes me kind of upset that my son didn't in Columbia, because I would love to send him down there, to some of your training in Columbia. Now, do you still train now that the COVID is kind of clearing up, or how does that work?
Well, so the parks and rec, they starting to let people back in, but because my class was like so big, you still not able to like socially distance it, even though you can go to like Sunny's and everybody kind of in their training. I guess the parks and rec really don't want any type of liability on their hands. So I've not had the green light yet to start back. So hopefully, more vaccines getting people armed. Hopefully the death tolls come down, and hopefully I can start it back in the fall. I'm hoping, maybe winter.
Okay. That sounds good. That sounds
You
good,
need to
man.
get with LeBron. He on that training stuff too, man. So
Yeah, bro, we might
this is a
do
good thing.
do something together.
Yeah,
Hey man, it sounds good. I'm always willing to work and to help the community in any way I can, man.
and
I used to train with old Terry Dozier, Kyle.
Oh yeah, another
Yeah.
statue, a legend in the community.
Yes, sir. We was over there at the Elevate basketball camp. I used to help him and his daughter and run that. So yeah,
Yeah.
any way I can help, man,
Hey,
I'm willing to help.
just make sure you do all the stuff about going left, because LeBron can go left.
Man, cut it out, boy. You will find a way to throw a jab at me.
I can't help it, dog. I can't
Hey,
help
but
it.
I'm like, hey, I got that Mayweather shoulder though. I'm just giving it to him, the Mayweather, man.
Hey, Bron, but they couldn't stop you from going right though. That's the problem. You might could only go right, but they couldn't stop it.
That was, hey, if I decided to go there, Sly, you know what it was. I was getting to the cup, but
They
Chance,
couldn't.
I like that one. That was a good one, man. That was a good one. I like it, man.
All right, man. Here's the thing, man. We're running close to time, man. Kyle, man, we can sit up here and we can talk to you for hours, man. But we try to keep this thing underneath an hour, and we getting close. We getting close to that magical moment, man. But we are so proud, so glad to have you on our show, man. Can you give out all your socials and how we can reach how our listeners can reach you and get in touch with you if they need to get in touch with you for some of your speaking engagements, or just they hear a word of the day from you, man? How can the people get in touch with you?
All right, so I end every message I end with this, and I'm gonna end the show with this. So success in your life doesn't just happen. Every morning you wake up, you're given another opportunity to make it happen. Success is simply a mindset, and those who think that they can become successful many times do, while those who think that they can't many times don't. How are you thinking? How do you view your current situation? Is it success or is it a failure? Are you basing your success on those around you? And if you are, who's to say that they're even successful? Quit looking into the mirror of others, trying to find a reflection of what your success looks like. Your success looks like you. You own your success. And if you stare off into your mirror long enough and you don't like what's reflecting back at you, only you, not your mother, not your brother, not your sister, your cousin. So do something in your life that has never been done. Do something in your life that has never whoever it is that you desire to be. Yes, business. I mean, one day your own business, your own people doing your own thing. Like, you can do the unthinkable. Only you just think that you can. And you can do the impossible if only you believe in the endless possibilities that surround you. But first, you just got to be willing to reach out to Instagram, Facebook, type in Kyle Greene. If you want me to come speak, it's Kyle at kyleagreene.com. Hopefully, I'm not freezing too bad, but if I am, man, take it for love. We had an awesome call, man. Awesome podcast. Now he's frozen. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Keep talking.
Oh, okay. All right. Nah. So that's it, man. So yeah, reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me, man. I follow everybody back. If I can come to your school, if I can come to your organization, you got a nonprofit, just let me know, man. I go speak any and everywhere, churches and all, prisons and all.
Definite pleasure to talk to you, man. We're gonna have to get you back on the show again, because like I said, time just flies by, and we need a little more of that motivation. So.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate y'all guys.
Man, we appreciate it, man. This is the RIP 28 podcast, man. Once again, it's a podcast where a few friends can get together and we can talk about a few things. Now, some of those things you might like, some of those things you might not like, but we're going to keep on talking about it on the RIP 28 podcast. We'll see you next week.
That's all.
Peace.
That tea was good, Juwan.
I ain't have tea. I had electrolytes today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some Pedialyte.
I sweat a lot when I run, so I got to put those electrolytes back in me.
Like true light skin.